Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Inshallah ta'ala, everybody in the best state of Iman, trying to stay focused and growing this deen. Alhamdulillah. So we're going to discuss Isnad, right? The benefit of Isnad was to him. Alhamdulillah, shout out to the Ashari brother who came in the comments that had one of the new Shahada brothers ask me about the Isnad and certain things that the brother had said, because I really didn't think to start to talk about the Isnads. I knew we was gonna get to it eventually, because we going step by step, with the Aikido classes and mixed in with a little fiqh stuff that's not necessarily that we don't put on YouTube, So I got you, Sheikh. So it's a little early right now. I'm starting a little earlier than usual, so sometimes when I start a little earlier, we have to wait for a couple of brothers to come in. So while we waiting, I just want to show a particular individual. Not no arguing or back and forth, but right here, and this for the people who in the comments. Right here, y'all see where it say, not for y'all, but for Mr. Salam 100, I'm showing you that YouTube let me know when you subscribe back with your old pages. And I'm showing it now, which you and I both know you did it yesterday, right after you tried to say, I didn't say that, this and that. The only reason why I'm putting it out there, when y'all see a person, Blackfoot 100, start commenting and saying little stuff in the comments, ignore him. See, in the beginning, he came in, Mr. Salam 100, he got mad over some stuff about Malcolm X, said I didn't know what I was talking about. So I said, okay, cool, alhamdulillah, let me just look into it. He was arguing with other people in the comments. So then when I went and looked into it, I showed it to him. He was wrong. Then he come again, but it wasn't about trying to be right or who wrong. Okay, cool, let's just look and see what's going on. He wasn't right. Even though he'll say he not the same, this ain't him, but every YouTube channel he used, he got the exact same story. he do Maliki, fiqh, he grew up in the Nation of Islam as a kid. How all of y'all got the exact same story and you all get mad about the same stuff, and you only one who start to use those caps and do this and argue back and forth with people when something gets said about Elijah Muhammad, Farah Muhammad, or the Nation of Islam. So he came back as Blackfoot 100. Same thing happened again. Right? Exact same thing. So then he unsubscribed with the Blackfoot 100 and came back with the Mr. Salam 100. And he do a lot of little petty stuff. YouTube show it to me. Like he'll go start hitting the thumbs downs on my videos. But I don't block them. And then like the way the channel is set up, all I had to do is just go click to the side. Like anybody who comment, even if it's been for a whole year, it'll show me every single comment, and it'll show me their YouTube stuff. Like how your Facebook and like if you got Instagram, how I could tie it, or if you got more than one Facebook page, it's tied to the same URL. Same thing happens on YouTube. So it showed me exactly who he is. And because of the way he be doing, sometimes it'll go into a box where I might consider it to be offensive, and then I have to read it. So he'll be able to see it like he commented, but it really being a thing for me to approve where everybody else can see it. I approve it. You know what I'm saying? I be wanting people to see it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's something to learn from. And he been commenting for the last 2 days. I really just ain't been paying him no attention because I really know what's to him. So I'm just letting him know. I see that you, after you try to say, oh, that wasn't me, that was another person, which was him from his other YouTube channel, and then immediately he resubscribed with that YouTube channel, and I guess he's probably going to go and be like, no, that was me who said that, from his other YouTube channel. And the funny thing is, he put 100 at the end of all his YouTube channels, so that's just a little jewel for him. You know, if you want to be a troll, you might want to switch it up a little bit. Put like 99 at the end or something. So y'all see Blackfoot 100 and he's saying things about the deen, just leave it alone. They bow out. Okay. So we got a couple of more minutes. So he also said in my other comment, I promise y'all, like I said, I've been ignoring him. He can have at it, right? But you know, of course he gonna try to defend. You know, he won't defend Prophet Muhammad. You say something about Prophet Muhammad, he get upset. Same way when the brother asked him about having love for Prophet Muhammad, he got upset. You know what I'm saying? But say something about he won't defend it or nothing. But he tried to say, I put up a fake picture of a man named Muhammad Abdullah and I'm funny. This is how I'm telling y'all, the man wasn't in the loop of the Nation of Islam. He probably was as a kid, possibly, but he don't even act like a Nation of Islam member. Even if you just, especially the way AI is, to where they'll pull up anything that was said about anything or any articles. But I don't need it, because like I said, I'm in the land. And we done have final call papers, and you know, as shorties, we was in tune with the nation, right? So if you go and look, he's saying I put up a fake picture of a man named Muhammad Abdullah. If you just go look and then look at everything that was said, it'll let you know Muhammad Abdullah was the Orthodox Muslim name of W.D. Fard Muhammad, who reintroduced himself with this name in 1959. Because now he's coming back with as a so-called Sunni Muslim. And like I said, I keep what he can't get through his head. Wallahi, I know his granddaughter. I done seen way more pictures of this person. And like I told y'all about his cousin, who was an Ahmadiyyan from India, from the Indian Pakistani region, who was teaching him Islam. Then it also goes in to say, when you go and just look into, I can even pull up some other things. Because when you go and look at some of the speeches, it's very hard to find certain speeches by Elijah Muhammad. So you have to know certain pages and stuff to go to. There's speeches and conversations and articles where Elijah Muhammad say out of his mouth that Fard Muhammad came back. He even tell a story about when he seen Fard Muhammad last in Chicago, and Fard Muhammad was leaving with his son, Wafdeen Muhammad. Now, even out of the mouths, you can find it all on YouTube. You can find it in all type of articles. Even, and I'm going to read one. Look, they almost ready. Just while I got a couple of minutes, I'm going to keep it short because I know this ain't for everybody. But, you know, the way he keep coming in the comments, like I said, it's funny to me. Y'all ignore him. I entertain him for a little bit because it's funny to me. He probably feel like I'm being a narcissist and I'm just trying to prove myself right when I'm wrong, when Dalil is Dalil. And that's what I be saying about Muslims. They will make up Dalil. And when we get to the Isnad, I'm going to show y'all exactly what I'm talking about, right? So, W.D. Muhammad, Wafdeen Muhammad, met Maulana Muhammad Abdullah in 1958-1959 at the house of Elijah Muhammad, right? W.D. Muhammad never mentioned anything about Muhammad Abdullah being in Chicago in 1950 in any of his public statements, but he did openly question his father on the meeting with Master Fard Muhammad and his origins and how this was a bone of contention between them. And when Wafdeen talk about it, and like I said, some of the older brothers who was around at the time, wallahi, and they did security for Elijah Muhammad, I sat around and listened to them talk about the lies that he used to tell. Okay, wallahi, in the masjid is one of them who's still alive, and his son is the one who's married to Farah Muhammad's granddaughter. Alright? So, like I said, they got all type of stuff. They will be in there talking about it and talking about why did they believe it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we trying to build a nation, talking all this stuff. But look at this. So War of Deen and his father got into it about it. You teaching these people this man is Allah. You see what I'm saying? So strangely, after 1957, 1958, after Maulana Muhammad Abdullah was in Chicago at the house of Elijah Muhammad, after this, he directly taught Elijah Muhammad and his son, W.D. Muhammad. And oddly, both Elijah Muhammad and W.D. Muhammad began telling people that Master Farad Muhammad had reappeared. But I done seen the articles. I already know who he is. That's him in the picture. But y'all have to understand, this man think he's Allah. They had to keep certain things under wraps. Now, yes, there is, when reporters caught up with him later in his life, and they came and asked him, be honest, are you really Farah Muhammad? They say he recanted his statement. Because y'all got to keep in mind, he only fell back because the FBI was after him. Go look into his history. In Detroit, him, Elijah Muhammad, and a few other people accidentally killed a man trying to perform a Masonic ritual on him. They was initiating the guy and accidentally killed him. Right? And he ended up getting arrested. All this stuff is on file. And then the way that the racket and stuff, he had admitted that, you know, that this what he was on was a racket. Feds got at him. Feds got at him. So that was a little bit of his hiding. But if the man sitting around had people thinking that he's Allah, and now that they trying to get him to say something publicly with some reporters, like the reporter said, he recanted the statement. But anyway, y'all could just go find War of Deen, talk about it. War of Deen says him. The secretary says him. And like he said, oh, you showing a picture of a fake dude named Muhammad Abdullah. Not even knowing that was Farah Muhammad, Muslim name. And it even goes into where he was teaching him Ahmadiyyan Islam. That's why them Qurans that they was running around with, and it was the first Quran that I picked up, because it was the ones that they had, was an Ahmadiyyan Quran. I talk about it all the time. You can see numerous pictures of him traveling with W.D. Muhammad. He was the imam of one of the War of Deen masjids. Like I said, I know his granddaughter. They got all type of stuff from him. His letters when he was locked up in California, because her mother is his daughter. And she's married to a black guy. You know what I'm saying? I done set up in a meeting with them because they wanted to start another masjid. And they wanted me to be involved. Wallahi, Allah is my witness. And when I sat up in there with them, I was like, wait a minute. You want me to be involved? What we going to be teaching? She was like, we want to teach the War of Deen stuff. But why? Who was War of Deen teacher? Farah Muhammad, Muhammad Abdullah. And then all you got to do is look at the pictures. They even got things right now where you could put that picture on a computer and then remove the beard and stuff from them. You will see exactly who it is. You can see who it is through the picture. The people in the room sitting up telling people it's Farah Muhammad. But because some people believe he Allah and don't know what's going on, they can't accept it. So anyway, but like I said, when he start coming in as Blackfoot 100, y'all don't argue with him. He been commenting for 2 days. Y'all don't pay him no attention. But that's just a little jewel for him. And then to say there's no charter fee for the Nation of Islam, I don't think you know what a charter is. If you think that, You think that they build up a whole nation where they have an image and likeness and copyrights, and you think you could just go get a building and start selling that and, hey, this is a nation of Islam, without giving them money? Just like you think you could just open up a McDonald's and start selling McDonald's without you paying them? You don't understand what a charter is. But anyway, you don't even act like a member of the Nation of Islam. Like I said, y'all, he be going through, start trying to dislike, put the thumbs down on my videos, but it don't hurt me because I don't make money off YouTube. You know what I'm saying? It don't take me out of algorithm and all this other little stuff, whatever he calling himself trying to do. It don't matter. YouTube showed me, and I'm sitting up showing me that after you made your comment and then went and subscribed with your other Blackfoot, because I have more than one YouTube channel. So anyway, man, they ready, Shay? What we got? What we got? They in? And see, I had to ask them because y'all had to understand they're on Zoom. So I have a laptop and then I have a TV. So when I'm looking down, the way I had this put up in the corner and explain it, because some people can't understand what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So I don't want it to feel like I'm picking on him. He trying to troll. I entertain him when it ain't got nothing else to do. I've been doing it since he came along. But you know, it's just funny to me. But my point is, some of these people, man, this is the reason why some people, Islam is corrupted. He might be an agent. You know what I'm saying? These individuals come around, hey man, don't do that, that's Arab stuff, do this and that, and some people fall for it. But this man still think for Muhammad is Allah. They can't accept, even with Elijah Muhammad saying he came back, even with Elijah Muhammad's son exposing and saying, my father knew that man wasn't Allah. And then when you go in and look at the rest of it, he was the one who had War of Deen dismantle the Nation of Islam and change it to the War of Deen community as his teacher, because he knew he was on some foolishness. Okay, he knew it, and it's documented. It's easy to find, but the only people who don't know it, they don't look. They're just parrots for stuff that they heard. And that's why when we talk about this Isnad, I got a couple of Quran ayats that I want to get a Tafsirs for, because I want to show y'all the Isnad game that people play, for one. And for like some of the brothers, even, you know, I know the brothers in our group that's on that Salafi side, but we had these conversations all the time. But for the ones that's not in our group, and you've been pigeonholed, you have allowed them to pigeonhole you. Really learn and look at things for yourself, because you don't want to be no parrot. You don't want to just go around repeating stuff that they say. So with the Isnad, now that everybody ready, right? So with the Isnad, we know that the Isnad is a chain of narrators, which was generally 4 hadiths and different things. Right now, I'm going to be careful with my words. We don't necessarily have to cling to an Isnad like that now, because we have people like Imam Bukhari just put all of it in a book of hadith for us. Imam Muslim. So you could just go get the book and look at the chain of narrators in the hadiths. Okay? And then when you look at Bukhari, you will see that the boat is his hadiths is generally tied to a Sahaba or somebody in that first generation. Okay? You know, your Abu Hurairahs, Aisha, people who sat right there with the Rasul. Now, sometimes when you get in other books, you will see some of the narrations is a little farther down the line. Okay? Intermediate and stuff like that. So, the Isnads is already there for you. Then when you go to the books of Tafsirs, it'll put the companions, who said this, who that opinion came from, right? And during this time, narrators had to fit, when you understand Jawat Tardil, the science of Jawat Tardil, praising and criticizing narrators in the Isnads of Hadiths. You had to meet a certain criteria. So like later on down the line, like with ijazas, like now that you could get ijaza to a particular book, right? I got some ijazas where I'm tied to a scholar that's tied to a scholar that's tied to a scholar, right? So I have some. But the thing is, although I'm tied to it and my name can be in this isnad to this book, I might not be a trustworthy person. Somebody in that class with me might not be a trustworthy person. So my point in mentioning that is, nowadays and in different times, there's really not scrutiny on certain people who can say, my sheikh narrated to me to this and he has an isnad all the way up to the Rasul. But you might get high. You might be a liar. See, you wouldn't have went on the isnad back in the day. So what has happened is, and this is a part where, as we get into the isnads and why I want to discuss it, the Asharis peeped a major weakness from the Salafis that don't like anybody. Alright? And I'm saying this, they figured out something, but what they haven't figured out completely, they think all Salafis is the same. And they had a major war against the Salafis because they don't like those Salafis that don't like anybody. Okay? Now, like I say, there's some Asharis that I'm extremely cool with. Because you can find some, they cold in Arabic. They nice with the fiqh, some of the Maliki fiqh. They be nice with Ibadah. And some of them just generally nice people. Okay? So, I'm sitting up in a conversation with one of them, and wallahi, like I know some of them. I done defended some of the Salafis from them, wallahi. And wallahi, they was having a conversation, basically this little takeover thing that they want to have, and they're going to start by trying to take all the Salafis women. Because what they notice is, a lot of the Salafi women are weak, and they're not really being taken care of. You know what I'm saying? And they getting abused and all type of other stuff and getting tricked. So, and wallahi, I done had to help some Salafi sisters get out of marriages with Asharis because the Asharis hid that they was Ashari from them. And then when they married them and started seeing certain things, but they knew that they didn't know enough. Wallahi, Allah is my witness. I done had to help them get out of the marriages. But this is a part of what they own. So what they done peeped is, and I'm not trying to disrespect them, but a lot of them be parroted. Now, what I did, wallahi, so they was having debates. They was calling the Salafis out. I done sat in and watched some live debates. And when I tell you, I done spoke about it in my videos. They be handing them Salafis they hat. Well, and when they had a debate, they be live. So the Salafi brother be on one side, then the Ashari brother be on one side, and then they have a moderator, right? And then they add something, so then dude get to say what he got to say. Then the Ashari say what he want to say, and then they can have a rebuttal. And when I say they be handed, wallahi, handing them Salafis they hat. And I done had to jump in and save one of them because they always be knocking his head. And you know, he's one of the Salafis, and I'm not gonna say his name, but he's one of the Salafis that the Salafis is crazy about. Now this is what blows my mind. These Salafis with a name and the way they calling them out, They never say nothing about them. But other people who Salafis and got something else going on with their masjid and done did better than them, they always saying something about them. Like, you could look at some of the students that they go against, right? You look at, we'll say they got a major issue with Tahir because they felt like Tahir worked at the same place he was employed by Umar Suleiman, right? But they had these differences with Umar Suleiman. But if you notice, since he hired Tahir as a consultant, a lot of the stuff he was doing has disappeared. But they don't give Tahir the credit for that. Sister Claire Muhammad School and Masjid in Philly is now a Salafi Masjid, and they took the Sister Claire Muhammad name off of it and changed it to the Philadelphia Masjid. Who's the consultant and the one over that? Tahir. Okay? The United Muslim Masjid, where he came in, he's a consultant for them, and he does the khutbah, but he brought in imams also, restructured all of that, totally turned those masjids around. Then you take Ali Davis and Abu Sajid, two more students who came back, who qualified judges. These brothers came and got the money together and bought a building and opened up a whole new masjid from the ground up and put a free clinic on it. Right? You look at Mufti, and I'm just naming people that they always trying to call out. You look at Mufti, the masjid in Queens, totally turned that masjid around as an imam. And then what they say about Shadid Muhammad, this man done bought a building from the ground, tore the building down, and had the building rebuilt into a masjid from the ground up. And inshallah ta'ala, they will be opening in January. Alright? They have done none of that. Now I will say they did buy Bin Baz, right? The administration. They did get Bin Baz and they put Jamil Finch over there, but it was some individuals who had a problem with Jamil Finch. Wallahi, I done heard them talk about they'll never go listen to a khutbah there. But they haven't accomplished as much as the people that they talk about. So the Asheris done peeped. These dudes don't really know what they think they know. And one way that they trick them, just like dude try to say in my comments, you don't have an isnad to your understanding. But first, you can't even see what I'm reading from. I'm just answering questions. You don't see the whole course. See, this is where they're speaking without knowledge. And one way that they trick them Salafi dudes is, and I'm saying in the debates that I seen with my own eyes, what's the isnad to you have to call yourself a Salafi? And this brother, because he really didn't understand what Salafiyah was, he just was trying to go into like, you could call yourself Salafi to distinguish yourself with certain Sunnis who don't know this and that rhetoric. So then the dude, and something that I know and something that I say. So the brother said, the Ashri brother said, so okay, so you saying you Salafi and you practice Islam with the understanding of the Salaf, right? Dude said, yeah. And he said to him, so how you do that when they all didn't have the same understanding? Dude stumped. He kept stumping him. So this little, what's your isnad to this and that, the dude couldn't answer, and the answer is very simple. There is no isnad that you have to call yourself Salafi. But you could have just asked them the same question. What's the isnad that you have to call yourself Ashari? There is none. There is none. You see what I'm saying? So the way that they try to play this isnad game, oh, this, that, and the third, but they don't have no isnad to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that Allah exists without a place. They can't give you no isnad for that. They claim that they study Maliki fiqh, right? But, and one thing that they try to throw out in the debate is when Imam Malik was asked about how did Allah Azza wa Jal rise above his throne. And they try to twist it and say it's haram to ask about it. No, he was asking about how he did it. But Imam Malik definitely clarifies, yes, Allah Azza wa Jal is above his throne. Yes, he did rise above his throne. How he did it, the manner in how he did it, we don't know. Because we don't know what Allah looks like. But if Allah tell us he rose above his throne, then that's what he did. He didn't say, oh no, Allah Azza wa Jal ain't above his throne. Allah exists without a place. Imam Malik never said that. Abu Hanifa never said that. Shafi'i never said that. Hanbali never said that. The Rasul definitely never said it. And the companions never said it. But he's saying, I don't have an isnad for my understanding in the comments. And then they want to throw around a couple of big Arabic words, and this is why I don't do that. And then, they do you just misguided you or this and that. See, they're becoming the new Salafis. When they get to a point and this and that, they start with the name calling. Oh, you just a narcissist. Oh, you misguided. Oh, you think this and think that. But obviously, you didn't, due to them have selective hearing, right? In the video, I clearly say, and I know what was sticking to them. Because I'm saying, how are y'all Ahlul Sunnah wa Jama'ah when Ahlul Sunnah wa Jama'ah didn't have these beliefs? All he had to do was say, oh, well, no, he's going to say the Salaf as-Salih refuted the claims. Now, I clearly say in the video, the lesson, I even read from the lessons, we're not putting human hands on Allah or a human face on Allah. We're not doing that. And then I said, for some of y'all who knew, if you're picturing human hands on Allah, stop doing that. I clearly said that in the video. That's misguidance. So now what they have to say is, so that's why they try to wordplay. You're liking Allah to his creation. And let me show y'all the flaw in that. And I want y'all to understand, so that when they try to say, well, what's the isnad to your understanding, so that y'all will very know how to do it. Sometimes with the isnad, don't start at the bottom, because they try to get tricky. Start with who taught you, then who taught him, then who taught that person, all the way up to the Prophet Muhammad. All you got to do is start at the top. And this is what I honestly believe. Probably in about 10 years from now, it's not going to surprise me if I'm alive 10 years from now. It's not going to surprise me if people start looking at the Quran saying, look at this. Allah likening himself to his own creation. Allah said he had a face. Allah said he had hands. Allah said he had eyes. So if we read the ayat from the Quran, Allah said he created Adam with his hands. Are you likening Allah to his creation? This is what Allah said. I never said they was the exact same hands as Allah's creation. First and foremost, I already know the uniqueness is in there. First and foremost, Allah came first. So, although I know they're not human hands, Allah came first. So we didn't have hands to compare to Allah. We can't compare ours to Allah because we didn't come first. You see what I'm saying? So if anything, the comparison is in reverse. But they don't get that. So when it comes from the Isnad, and they do, because like I said, they stomp these Salafis with this. But it's just simple stuff. Where's your Isnad to the Rasul? that you supposed to call yourself Salafi? Where's the Isnad that you supposed to call yourself Ash'ari? Well, where's your Isnad all the way up to the Prophet that Allah is above his throne? Where's your Isnad all the way up to the Prophet that he exists without a place? Because first and foremost, we start at the top. Allah said it first. Then it came down to the angel Jibril who brought it to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then you could see in hadiths where the Rasul clearly states Allah is above his throne. So we can start at the top. How am I misguided for saying what Allah said? And then we just leave it there. I don't have to change the meaning because I'm not under the impression that Allah has a human face. I know what it means. And just like with the Salafis, and like I said, they're just parroting. Another thing, like he gonna say in there, this is Wahhabi Aqidah. See, these things, to be honest with y'all, because they repeat Arabic terms, and they may know what they mean, but they're not using it right. This is Wahhabi Aqidah. In order for it to be Wahhabi Aqidah, that means it had to start with Abdul Wahhab. Imam Malik said the same thing, and he was way before Abdul Wahhab. As a matter of fact, let's pull up this phone. And this isn't for them. Because the brother asked me in the comment, the new Shahada asked me about it, because these things be confusing. Let's see. Let's look up Abdul Wahhab. Just for a specific reason. This is just for a specific reason. Abdul Wahhab passed away in 1792. Okay? 1792. We'll just say 1992 was what? About 200 years? 1892, 1992. That's 200 years. Now, when you go look at Imam Malik, Imam Shafi'i, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this Aqidah started back then. How is it a Wahhabi Aqidah? Because they want to tie Abdul Wahhab to the belief of the Salafis. And then the way they try to do them, anything y'all say don't go past Abdul Wahhab or Ibn Taymiyyah. But that's why you see when I do a lot of talking, I use Quran, Sunnah, and Ijma'. Okay? Just like Quran, Allah says, I created Adam with my hands. Boom, that's the top of the Isnad. The Rasul Allah has numerous hadiths, and we can start in Sahih Bukhari first. Because like I said, if this was a common saying that Allah existed without a place, and the Rasul taught this, and the companions taught this, it wouldn't be hard to find in Sahih Bukhari. It wouldn't be like looking for a needle in a haystack. If this was so common and this was the teachings. But first and foremost, we need to see where Allah said it. So there's some ayats there's some hadiths and some athars about when people ask the Rasul about the abrogated verses in the Quran, like if they abrogated, why you won't take them out? And the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, who am I to change Allah's book? Jibril didn't ask me to take those ayats out. He didn't say Allah instructed to take it out. Angel Jibril came and went over the Quran with him once a year. So I'm taking that hadith and that athar and those sayings to say, if Allah say he has a face, who am I to change it? If Allah say he's above his throne, who am I to change it? Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam never changed it. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq never changed it. Umar, Uthman, Ali, Bilal, Muawiyah. You know what I'm saying? Ibn Abbas, Abu Huraira, Hudayfa. They never changed it. So why do I? Now, so this is what y'all need to know about an Isnad. You don't have to play the Isnad game with them, because now everything just put in a book for you. Okay? Everything put in a book for you. You got multiple books of hadiths, Isnads in them. You got Fath al-Bari, for the people who know the Arabic, where it goes through and give you detailed information about all the narrators that's in Sahih Bukhari. You also have other books with detail about all the narrators. So you can go and look into those narrators. Any of the narrators outside of that, we ain't really got to get to that, because like I said, there is a time where right now anybody can get put on an isnad to a book or to a statement of a scholar, but it don't mean you're trustworthy. Your isnad, what's your isnad? That the Rasul said that we can start in Sahih Bukhari. We can start with authentic hadiths. Now they're gonna have to tear that down. I'm aware that Asheris played a hand in Isnads. That's why I don't completely throw them away. I got a whole set of explanation of Sahih Muslim. I'm short a couple of books because they haven't finished it, but it's done by Imam an-Nawawi. Imam an-Nawawi was Asheri. The same book, if I still got it right here in my chair. The Branches of Iman by Bayhaqi. He was an Asheri, but all Asheris wasn't the same. See, I'm not one of them that's going to be like, oh, they deviants, oh, they bid'ah, you can't learn from them, this and that, because I understand. Just like I say, when I look at them Salafis that do that, but they call themselves trying to teach 40 hadith for Norway, who was Asheri. So the game that they able to play with them, they think they could do it with everybody because they're at war with them guys. And they be putting belt on them because they figured out these dudes ain't that knowledgeable for real. They're parrots, but they turning into the new Salafis because now they're attackish. Oh, you misguided. Oh, you're this. You're this or that. You think this. They result to the name calling. So what I said about the Salafis. So that's what y'all need to learn about the Isnad game. Start from the top. Okay? Why do we start from the top? Because where do we take our deen from? Quran first. Okay? Sunnah second. Ijma. Consensus on what the majority of the Salaf Salih agreed on. Which you really could say the whole Salaf, because if they agreed with the Salih, then eventually they was with him. So it's the majority of what the Salaf agreed upon. Right? And then in certain instances where Qiyas is necessary, but it's based off Quran, Sunnah, and Ijma of the Salaf Salih. So how do the Salaf Salih refute these claims when we saying the exact same thing? If Allah says He has a face and hands in the Quran, who are we to say, oh man, listening to Allah, He likened Himself to His creation? We never said human hands. And see, unfortunately, some of them Salafis who they be knocking their head, they don't read Tafsirs. They don't even really read Hadith. See, they busy themselves with these other little books, which nothing is wrong with them. Kitab, Tawheed, this and that. And then they don't deal with any fiqh at all. I study fiqh, but I don't stick to no one madhab because I understand the purposes of studying fiqh. And then they do the same thing. They throw around a couple of big Arabic words that they think nobody mean. But all you have to do is listen to what's said. We're not going to change it. Y'all want to change it, alhamdulillah. But we're not saying it's a human face. But just to show, with like I said, they done caught a couple of them cats who really don't know nothing outside of that rhetoric, that parakeeted Salafi dawah. And I'm telling y'all, I'm not telling y'all based off of something that somebody told me. Wallahi, I watched the debates. And I just be sitting there, and I'm going to be honest with y'all. They was on boy head so bad that I had to jump in and say something, because it was other Salafis in there that couldn't defend him. They couldn't even help him. Wallahi, I jumped in and said something, and the master was like, man, this the first brother that made some sense. He was actually able to explain it and make sense. And I told them, all Salafis ain't the same. The same thing that them Salafis say about y'all, they'll say it about me. That I'm not Salafi. But I stood in and helped him because y'all doing him dirty. They was doing boy dirty. You know what I'm saying? The man he got 2 wives. He had both of his wives and his kids in the room, sitting in front of his books, getting belt put on them. Okay? Getting belt put on him. So, while I want to show something about Tafsirs, and I'm going to use my phone so I don't have to bust out a lot of books. And this also going to tie into what I was telling y'all about the clear Quran. So when it comes to the Isnad game, just start from the top. What did Allah say? Okay? Until you really get into your studies. Let's start with what Allah said first. Without changing it. Let's start with what Allah said and then leave it alone. Then let's go look at how the Prophet explained that before we change it to anything else. Let's look at what the Prophet said. Let's look at what his companions said before we change it and say, oh, that's supposed to mean this. Oh, it can be understood that way. We could do that with Tafsirs. So what I want to look at is ayat 2888. So y'all be careful. Don't fall for the Isnad game, man. Don't fall for the Isnad game. You had no Isnad for your understanding. Obviously, you didn't listen to everything I had said because it turned into selective hearing. I clearly even said for y'all new brothers, new sisters, or anybody, if you thinking in your mind that Allah has hands that look like this, stop thinking that. I clearly said that. But they want to come, oh, you got a Wahhabi Aqidah. This didn't start with Abdul Wahhab. But y'all so used to calling Salafis Wahhabis, and that because the ones y'all talking to, y'all knocking their heads. And that's, I'm going to give y'all that little jewel. Y'all going to do what y'all want to do with them. But that's a little jewel. How can it be Wahhabi Aqidah and it didn't start with Abdul Wahhab? That's just, and see, that's just some more y'all parroting. If I'm saying Allah doesn't have a human face, how are you still saying I'm liking Allah to his creation when Allah said it himself? Is Allah likening himself to his creation? If anything, it's likening things to him because Allah came first. Allah had a face first, whatever that looks like, which I know what Tafsirs say. I just say that to keep it safe because everybody ain't there yet. But we're going to go to 2888. I want to give y'all the Tafsirs on it, so y'all can have a clearer understanding of what the way face is used. And I know this. I read Tafsirs. Now, I want to use this ayat because I was showing how the Salafis who don't like anybody, the way they was trying to refute the clear Quran, because of the word that he chose to use, himself. Y'all watch this. Right? Let's look at the Tafsirs. So the ayat, and do not invoke any other deity with Allah. There is no deity worthy of worship except Allah. Everything is bound to perish except his face. Now he put himself, but they make sure they put except his face. It's in the footnotes, right? All authority belongs to Allah, and to him you will all return. When you come to the Tafsirs, and this is why I said it don't have Aqidah issues. I understand what they're trying to say, but maybe they just need to read Tafsirs. Okay? Now, when we go look at Tafsirs of the ayat, hold on, man, let me hurry up. So don't play the Isnad game with them like that. Just go to Tafsirs. Go look at the Tafsirs of the ayat. Ibn Kathir, Asati, Qurtubi, Tabari. Just go look at the Tafsirs first. And look at the Hadiths. Because they don't have an Isnad to Allah for a lot of stuff that they say. Because there is an Isnad to Allah, not just to Rasulullah, because what came from the Quran came down to Rasulullah. You actually supposed to start with the Quran first. You're supposed to start with the Quran first. Then you go to the Hadith second. All this stuff they say, where the Hadiths for it? They say everybody can only go to Ibn Taymiyyah for this or Abdul Wahhab for this. But they go to the scholars that they feel like said it. And the reason why I'm saying this about the Isnad thing, you best believe Shiites use an Isnad too. They feel like they have some Isnad too. See, everything is getting distorted. People have all type of Isnads. The Sufis have Isnads too. I got an Isnad all the way up to the Sheikh. Okay, Allah didn't say that. His prophet didn't say that, nor did he believe it or teach it. So the buck stops there. But let's get into it, man. Let me show y'all what the Tafsirs say. So everything will perish, save his face. Right? So he put himself. Here Allah is telling us that he is eternal, everlasting, every living, self-sustaining, who although his creation dies, he will never die, as he says. This is starting to break down some of the beliefs when it came to the face. It didn't say, oh, he got a human face. So, another explanation. Whatsoever is on it will perish, and the face of your Lord, full of majesty and honor, will remain forever. So now they're using another Quran ayat. This is ayat 55, Surah 55, ayat 26. So like I told y'all, Tafsirs, they will use another Quran ayat to prove as dalil for one Quran ayat. They will use Israeliyats. They will use statements from the Salaf, and they use hadiths. So this is another Quran ayat proving that statement. Allah used the word face to refer to himself. So with the brother using the word himself in the translation came from Tafsirs Ibn Kathir. So while they trying to refute the book and tear it down, oh, he put himself. In Tafsirs Ibn Kathir, it says Allah used the word face to refer to himself. Do they this? Because this is the belief I have. Am I still misguided? Nobody ever said that Allah has a human face. Now, if you saying because I said Allah said he had a face, that I'm likening myself to Allah, then you saying that I'm likening Allah to his creation, then you saying that Allah is likening himself to creation because Allah the one said it. But they think because they be knocking them Salafi cats that don't like anybody upside the head, what's your Isnad to your understanding? My Isnad is right here in Tafsirs Ibn Kathir. And we're going to get to some of the companions. Another explanation. Everything will perish save his face, meaning everything except him. It was reported in the Sahih. So you got Bukhari and Muslim. Abu Salama. That Abu Hurairah said, the messenger of Allah said, the truest word of a poet was the saying of Labid. Indeed, everything except Allah is false. So Allah Azza wa Jal is the truth. He is the decision, means dominion and control, and there is none who can reverse his judgment or decisions. And to him you shall be returned, means on the day when you will be brought back, and he will reward or punish you according to your deeds. If they are good, then you will be rewarded. Alright? So when you go to the Tafsirs, when they use the word face, it's saying it's referring to, in this meaning, because sometimes it's going to be pleasure. So with the brother in the clear Quran saying his face is referring to himself, so the brother translated to himself, that's why I'm saying that's very fair. Like I said, a lot of the stuff that they use in translations, it comes from Tafsirs. So that was fair. There's nothing wrong with that. If you read Tafsirs Ibn Kathir, even in English, it says the same thing. But like I said, you have one group who just so fixated on not liking anything. Then you have another group that's fighting and warring with them and think everybody is exactly like them, so they come at you with the same rhetoric when you never said Allah had a human face. But then the name, you misguided. And then when you do stuff like this, show the dalil, you just trying to be right. You think you know everything because you read a book. You ignorant. You're misguided. The name calling and stuff come in. When obviously you didn't listen to everything that was said. You don't have the material that was in front of me. For the people who have it. I was just answering the question part of it. And then I would go up and read a couple of things from it. But I clearly said, for y'all Muslims who thinking that Allah has hands that look like human hands, stop thinking that. But people want to be argumentative. I said it in the video. I read from the lessons where it said because we can't fathom Allah's hands, face, we can't even fathom what Allah looks like at all. But it's because in their mind, they see a face, so they have to deny it. In their mind, they have to deny the throne because that would mean Allah has a butt. And if you got a butt, you defecate, because you got to have a butt that defecates to sit on a throne. For you to even come up with that analogy, you're picturing his creation. You're picturing his creation. But we never said that. So I wanted to share that. Let's wipe that one off. 2888. This is understanding that. Now, if y'all want to tear down the Sahabas, other ayats from the Quran, approved ayats in the Quran, and Tafsirs Ibn Kathir, you're not arguing with me. You arguing with Tafsirs Ibn Kathir. And this is why I be saying Muslims be making up dalil and trying to squeeze stuff into different things and get the twisting stuff. If you're not a Muslim that twist up hadiths, like I said in the video, if you don't be twisting up hadiths and trying to squeezing into a part of this and that, I'm not referring to you. Now, if you happen to feel like, oh, you talking about me, I'm going to say, oh man, you must twist up hadiths and make up fake dalil, because that's clearly what I said. See, sometimes people are, like I'm telling y'all, man, people are going to this victim mode. Oh, you just trying to play a mental game. No, maybe your mental is playing a game on you. You understand? So, don't get caught up in it, man. Now, I did, because when a brother came and asked me about the comment, I was going to leave it up for everybody to see it. Because from time and time again, every once in a while, they'll pop up. You know what I'm saying? Or every once in a while, they'll go ahead and unsubscribe when I say something about the asheries. Well, I don't say nothing bad. I'll just say something about this. But hopefully, when we're reading the explanation of the hadith and saying in this right here, Allah's face is referring to himself. So when our understanding of Allah's face is liking it to Allah, not me, not his creation. This is the understanding that comes from Tafsirs Ibn Kathir. We can really stop there, because this is the Quran, baby. But because their hearing is so selective, and because they done knocked the heads of them Salafis that don't like nobody, they think this is what everybody say because they done caught them slipping. All of us not like that. Let me give y'all another. And when they talked about that ayat, that just means it's time for tahajjud. So it referenced the ayat to prove another ayat. Ayat number 5526, right? Let's go look at the tafsirs of this. And this is why I'm telling y'all, because for several brothers, even the guys in the clique, don't get pigeonholed. Go read tafsirs, man. I try to explain so much, even in English. Read tafsirs, man. Read tafsirs. We ain't got to go back and forth. Let's bust tafsirs open. Now you show me from Tafsirs Ibn Kathir that face means awareness. The type of stuff that they be saying. Like I said, I'm not going to say all of them say that, but this is stuff that I've heard some of them say. See, when it says Allah face, that means awareness. When it says Allah throne, that means power. Okay, cool. Show me that in Tafsirs Ibn Kathir. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. So let's go to 55. Let me just pull it up this way, man. So keep in mind, yes, Isnads did preserve the deen. But from the Isnads, the scholars, the Imams, Bukhari, Muslim, they preserved the stuff in books where now we don't have to go through and, as they say, as the Salafis try to say, name your men. Because what I'm going to show y'all, because some of the Ash'ari brothers, and I know this for a fact, some of them used to be Salafi and went to Germantown Masjid. I ain't going to say their name, because like I said, I done seen some of them get to arguing. And wallahi, I done had conversations with one of them who wanted a top imams. And I said some things to him and just asked him a question. And wallahi, you know what he told me? Man, it just is what it is. And he was a Germantown dude that became Salafi and became one of their top imams. And I'm gonna tell you what I said to him. I said, you got knowledge, right? You consider yourself to be a pretty knowledgeable guy, right? I feel like you got some knowledge. He said, yeah. I said, so being that you got some knowledge and you're a knowledgeable person, that means Allah don't got no knowledge, huh? Allah can't be knowledgeable, can he? Because for Allah to have knowledge, that would be liking him to you? Like, break it down for me. Give me something. And then I ran down about 3-4 more things that was just like that. You exist, don't you? So due to your logic, don't that mean Allah can't exist? To say that Allah exists, ain't that liking him to his creation? And dude said to me, man, I'm just going to keep it real with you. Man, it just is what it is. You ain't got to say no more. You ain't got to say no more. You gonna do what you got to do, huh? Get it how you live. Like we used to say, hey, go and get it how you live. 5526. And like I said, I ain't gonna say his name. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say his name. So 55, or was it 5527? 5527, right? Only your Lord himself. And then again, Clear Quran. I'm using Clear Quran. I got both the Noble and the Clear Quran as translations. Right? So, only your Lord himself, but they make it clear. The Arabic does use the word face. Full of majesty and honor will remain forever. So they using this as Dalil, another Quran ayat for Dalil. Right? Let's look at the Tafsir. Right? Allah states that all the residents of earth will perish and die. The residents of the heavens will die, except whomever Allah wills. Only Allah's honorable face will remain. Because our Lord, the Exalted, the Blessed, is the ever-living who never dies. Qatada said, first Allah mentioned his creatures, and then he said that all of this will perish. And in the reported supplication, then it goes through a dua, right? I'm gonna skip the dua part, right? Then it says, whatsoever is on the earth will perish. Do not stop. Continue reading. And the face of your Lord, Dhul Jalal wal Ikram, will remain forever. This ayat is similar to Allah's statements, everything will perish save his face, which is what I just read, 2888. In this ayat, Allah describes his noble face as being Dhul Jalal wal Ikram, right? Indicating that he is worthy of being revered and thus never defied, and obeyed and thus never disobeyed. So he's worthy of being revered and should never be defied and should be obeyed and never disobeyed. So they giving a meaning to what Allah is describing as the face. Where do they get from that means human face? And that's why I say them Salafis who they knock upside the head, y'all need to get into your Tafsirs if you're going to be debating these cats. But these guys don't say this. Right? Now listen. And keeping yourself patiently with those who call on their Lord morning and afternoon, seeking his face, they given another Quran ayat, 1828, which this is referring to Allah's pleasure. And as he said about those given charity, we feed you seeking Allah's face only, which is Surah 76, ayat number 9. Now here come another Sahaba, Ibn Abbas, commented on the meaning of Dhul Jalal wal Ikram by saying, owner of greatness and pride, after Allah stated that all of the inhabitants of the earth will die and end up in the hereafter when he, Dhul Jalal wal Ikram, will judge them by his fair judgment. He said, then which of the blessings of your Lord will you both deny? So now we can look at what the understanding of the Salaf as-Salih had, the Sahaba. This is the understanding that I have. So what is they talking about? If Allah said he had a face, I can say Allah has a face because I'm reading the Quran ayat. So due to their logic, is Allah Azza wa Jal likening himself to his creation? No. I don't think that means Allah's face look like this. But they love to jump in the comments and get attackish because they are at war with the Salafis that don't like nobody. So now they got to be at war with me even when I'm making the comments in the questions. But that's his thing. Listen, I can't believe, I'm amazed. I can't believe this brother, he's so misguided. He's trying to throw around some Arabic words. That's because you got selective hearing. That's because you got selective hearing. And for them who still listen and they tip in from time to time, let's just go to Ibn Kathir. You want to know the understanding I have? Let's go to Ibn Kathir. Let's look at how the Quran ayahs is explained by the people that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught. Then we could get into the hadiths, starting with Sahih Bukhari first. But one thing I'm noticing is, it sure ain't saying what I done heard some of y'all say. It sure ain't saying what I done heard some of y'all say. And then I love how I reference numerous ayats where Allah said he had a face. And then you could go look at the Tafsirs on all of them. And I'm just using Tafsir Ibn Kathir. I could use Qurtubi to go get deeper meanings. But you want to know the Isnad for my understanding? Quran and Sunnah, baby. And that's why I'm telling y'all, you new shahadas, don't let people play that Isnad game with you. Because just because you can't name an Isnad don't mean that you're wrong. And then just like, I can't find out one Salafi that could give me an Isnad all the way up to the Prophet that you supposed to call yourself Salafi. That's because there isn't one. And for them sitting around trying to figure out how to give y'all one is utterly ridiculous. Just like there's no Isnad all the way up to the Prophet that you have to call yourself Ash'ari. Or that you supposed to call yourself Ash'ari. You see what I'm saying? But y'all starting to become just as argumentative as them. See, one thing about them, and this, like I said, some of y'all is some really good guys. You know what I'm saying? But I know what I see. Them brothers, they attacked everybody until it was nobody to attack, and they started attacking each other. And guess what else? I know some of y'all. Y'all starting to get into it too. Y'all starting to disagree with each other just like them. Y'all gonna keep fighting with them to combat the characteristics that y'all didn't like in them, and now y'all adopting the exact same characteristics. Y'all running around looking for stuff to find when you obviously had selective hearing and didn't pay attention to everything that was said. But you come in with the name calling. Why? Because you feel like you attacked some Salafi and you think I'm from the little Germantown, Mukbil, whatever, those little sects of Salafis that y'all don't like. And I understand why y'all don't like them. I'm going to be honest with you. But just like with some of them excellent brothers. Some of them my guys. Because all of them ain't on that attackish, I hate this, that. I'm Salafi. I understand what it means to be Salafi. You ain't gonna get that, I'll just separate myself because you might call yourself a... No, you don't get that from me. And there is no Isnad to the Prophet saying you have to call yourself Salafi. Just like there's no Isnad to the Prophet that say you have to call yourself Ash'ari. But when it comes to my understanding, all you gotta do for me, let's just get into the Tafsirs first. Let's go to the Quran first. Let's look at how they explained it. But see, I'm going to show y'all the game that they play. The same game that the Salafis play. Who you study with. Who you learned under. Then you get the name of scholars just because the scholars don't, just because they don't know those scholars. Oh, well, they not known. Because who you take classes with, who you study. You start naming them. Oh, well, we don't listen to him. We don't like him. So what? So what? They do the same thing. What's your Isnad? Oh, Ibn Kathir. Oh, Ibn Taymiyyah. Oh, they're this, they that. They find some type of way to take them off of something. Oh, they killed some people. Oh, they went to war. They playing the exact same game, man. They playing the exact same game. You misguided. You deviant. You're jahil. I never said. I just read the Quran. And then I didn't give it my own interpretation. I looked at what Tafsirs said. So yes, the Isnad, very necessary. But it's been preserved for us. All you got to do is go get Tafsirs. Just go get Sahih Bukhari. Sahih Muslim. But they do the same thing. They tear Sahih Bukhari and stuff up. See, one thing about mad habbies that be mad habbies on the wrong way, they use their mad hab as an excuse to not have to deal with hadiths. We don't need Sahih Bukhari. We don't do Sahih Bukhari, which is what I heard some of them say. I'm not saying all of them, and I'm not saying these was like top knowledgeable people. We don't read Sahih Bukhari because he was Shafi'i. So a lot of those hadiths is in accordance with Shafi'i fiqh. Imam Nawawi was Shafi'i too. Do you not listen to Imam Nawawi? Of course they listen to him because he was Ash'ari. I can go bust out the hadiths about where things that refer to Allah having a face and being above his thrones, and look at the explanations of Imam Nawawi. Just like when I bust out this book with Bayhaqi, who was Ash'ari, and start going through the Aqidah and showed Bayhaqi wasn't saying those same things that they said. But because they arguing and fighting with them Salafis, they just attacking anybody, and then they're parroting the same things that them Salafis fell into. Just parroting, repeating anything that this one said and that one said, and not really reading the right stuff for themselves. And they get busy with this little book and busy with that little book, which some of them books be good, but they never busy themselves with Tafsirs. They never busy themselves with Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim. And that's why when they sit they butts down next to one of them Ash'aris, they get their head knocked. But they not getting their head knocked on Aqidah. They getting their head knocked on fiqh. They knocking their head on fiqh and playing tricky words with them. What's the Isnad all the way up to that? I ain't been able to find not one Salafi. But that's the same game, like I said. That's the same game that the Salafis played before them. But instead of saying, I ain't seen one Isnad, you know what they say? Name your men. That's how they be looking. Name your men. When you tell them something and you give them some delete, name your men. Basically, give me an Isnad all the way up to name your men. They playing the exact same game, man. I just feel sorry for the people who get caught up in it. They playing the exact same game. When they have selective hearing and don't listen all the way, they get attackish and call people names. And when they jump on here and they be in the comments, I don't call them names. I still be respectful. Let's just let the Dalil speak. Let's just go to Tafsirs Ibn Kathir. That's the Isnad to my understanding. What do you think I'm going to do? Say, what, Abdul Wahab? And like I said, when we go all the way up to statements from Qatada, Ibn Abbas, how is this Wahhabi Aqidah when you go to Tafsirs Ibn Kathir? You see Ibn Abbas and them saying the same thing. They Wahhabi too? They gotta have a tear down feature. But I ain't mad at them. I don't block them. You know what I'm saying? Y'all have at it. Y'all hit dislike. Do what you need, man. I know what comes with this, with me being on this. But this is why a lot of the late night sessions and like certain subjects I still won't record. Because I know certain people, when they want to feel some way and they argumentative, because one, just for your statement, you speaking without knowledge, because obviously you didn't listen to everything that was said. You know what I'm saying? You didn't listen to everything that I was said. When people get argumentative, they have selective hearing, and then they play victim, and then they get trollish and want to keep it going because now they want you to feel the same way that the way that they feel. Oh, I'm going to get one over you. I'm going to make you mad this time. And one thing about me is I entertain it the exact same way that they entertain it. Because it's funny to me, you want some attention. Because one thing that I notice, once people get used to your attention and then they feel like you're not paying them no attention no more, you everything under the sun. Like, and see, I noticed this looking at married couples. She be all in love, right? And then her husband wake up and go to work and he didn't kiss her and hug her. And then she say a whole bunch of stuff that she didn't mean, but she can't take it back. A whole bunch of attitude, but she can't take back the damage that they caused. And then if he ignore the attitude and he ignore everything else, she got to figure out how to push buttons. So then when he push her buttons back, he everything under the sun. He's a narcissist. He's a manipulator. But he just entertained you the exact same the way you try to entertain him. One thing, and that's what I'm saying, man. Just like this brother, man. You know, I don't disrespect him. I ain't calling him out his name. That stuff's sad to me, man. That stuff's sad to me. You know, I really feel bad that you think Fard Muhammad is Allah. As a Muslim that pray in accordance with Maliki fiqh. That disrespects Prophet Muhammad. That's baffling to me, man. That is baffling to me. You know what I'm saying? But let me get up out of here, man. You know, we got it done by 1:30, 1:35 D's. You know, so everybody can go and get to doing what they got to do and enjoy their little stuff, man. So again, the Isnad games, don't fall into that stuff, man. You know, one thing about it, when you sure about your deen, you don't have to really debate. And see, they so used to when they come misguided, what they do is just end up in screaming and shouting matches for 5-10 years. I just sit back, man. Hey, cool, alhamdulillah. I understand you feel how you feel, but obviously you didn't listen to what I said. You want to get down to the Isnad of my understanding because you didn't know what the lessons, what I was reading from, which had the dalil in it. You can argue with Tafsirs Ibn Kathir. If Tafsirs Ibn Kathir is something that y'all don't use, if Ibn Kathir was Wahhabi, alhamdulillah. You do what you do, I do what I do. I don't come to y'all stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't come to y'all stuff with comments, this, that, and the third. Have at it. And just for some of y'all Salafis who've been pigeonholed, oh, you can't listen to this, you can't talk to that one. And that's what they used to. We don't do this, we don't do that. But they try to teach 40 hadith of Nawawi. Or you might be in a vicinity and they're not teaching you 40 hadith of Nawawi because they know that he's an Ash'ari. So to think that you can't learn from somebody else because they don't call themselves a Salafi, that's batil. That's batil. Imam an-Nawawi is Ash'ari. Imam Bayhaqi, Ash'ari. Great imams. I never take nothing away from them. Matter of fact, some of the first times that they got mad at me, the Ash'aris, because in a video where I'm discussing some things, and I just said in the video, not trying to troll them, but I was like, man, all the knowledge that Imam an-Nawawi had, I can't understand how dude was Ash'ari. Them brothers was mad at me. They was unsubscribing and everything. But it was like one of those thoughts you accidentally say out loud. Like, dang, man, all the knowledge Imam an-Nawawi had, man, and he was Ash'ari. But then I had to learn, see, all Ash'aris ain't the same. Some of the stuff that they say today, the Ash'aris didn't say back then. They done kiosked it all the way up to some new stuff. Okay? And like I said, I could go bust out the explanation of Muslim hadiths by Imam an-Nawawi, and you know, like I saw his scholarship. And then he'll break down to the math. He'll put the view of everybody. And then he'll say, but our scholars, or we feel, basically saying on the Shafi'i fiqh, he will put it that way. Even when it's certain views that may go against his actual view, he'll be honest and say, but the strongest opinion, the safest thing to go with is this, and this. And it go against his actual opinion. And I'd be like, whew, it take a strong Muslim to say that. I done read it with my own eyes. That's when I say, ooh, boy, nice. Just like when there's things that go against the Shafi'i madhab, he put it in there. And he'll even say, hey, this is the strongest view. And it go against Shafi'i madhab, and he's Shafi'i. That's scholarship. That's scholarship. Just like I could sit down and say, I'm Salafi. But I've watched them Ash'aris put belt on a booty in debates. Man, it blow my mind because I be waiting for why y'all ain't all on Twitter, all the big names, all the ones this and that. Why y'all ain't on Twitter arguing with the Ash'aris? Y'all gonna talk about other people who Salafi? Everybody a deviant. Why y'all ain't at them? You know what I'm saying? Because they might trip y'all up and put some belt on that booty. I give them their credit. I seen it with these. I watched it looking at her like this. And I tuned in because I knew boy was going to get spanked. Because when we was friends, you know, I done had to save him a couple of times in his comments. You know what I'm saying? And no knock to him, you know. I had to get a sister out of a marriage with him. I had to get a sister out of marriage with that brother, man. I had to be like, hey, Ak, man, listen, man. Come on, Shay. Hey, he would get mad at me, man, because I'm Salafi. But if you a Salafi, I don't care what side you on. Just like with me, if I'm wrong, alhamdulillah, I don't mind being wrong. I'm not going to be a person who's wrong and I'm just going to continue to try to be right. I know I'm wrong. That's why I say being wrong is never the problem. Staying wrong is the problem. I'm wrong all the time. That's why I try not to stay wrong. Knowledge does away with ignorance. You know what I'm saying? It's the staying wrong that's the problem. And then if a person proves me wrong, because it ain't gonna be a let's prove who's right or wrong. With me, it's a let's get to the bottom of it. I'm one of them type of people. Okay, cool. You said this and that. Alhamdulillah. Okay, I made up some fake stuff about Elijah Muhammad or Malcolm X. Cool. Let's just take a look and get to the bottom of it. The Dalil says exactly what I said. Then they come back. Wrong again. There's no fee for a charter. Like he know. You don't even know. You might not even know what a charter is. Wrong again. That's a fake picture of a man named Muhammad Abdullah. Guess who Muhammad Abdullah is? Let me quit laughing, man, because like they said, I'm laughing, making light of the situation, and that might make the person feel picked on. When I'm not picking on them, and I'm not trying to come off like I feel like I'm above them, I'm not trying to belittle them, because I feel sorry for them. That's why I'm saying that everybody else, don't argue with them, man. Y'all don't argue with them. You know, like I said, I feel like he's a hurt person. Which like always, and I clearly said I feel like he's a hurt person. Of course, somebody had to jump up and defend how they ain't a hurt person. Be making me want to look at him and say, is you even a he? Last time I checked, you wasn't no he. And hurt people. And he keeps coming back because he want me to feel the way he feel. And like I said, I'm clearly saying he. But somehow, some way, somebody gonna jump up and where I have to be like this. Bow, bow. Y'all know what bow, bow mean? It's this funny cat, man. Every time he see women that carry themselves like men, he be like, bow, bow. I ain't know you was a he. But somehow I'm being manipulated and spinning the conversation. Just like the brother, and I'm going to end it on this. The brothers who send me their work and do their stuff, and I really read it and I can show the thing, it's people that think that I'm lying just to prove something to them that how they don't know something. Or he just doing that to try to shoot a shot at me. He just reading that stuff because he knew I thought something different. When wallahi, I'm reading from what the brother really sent me and asked permission. And I almost want to get to the point to show our conversation, but I'm not going to do that because I'm not going to reveal that brother's name. I'm just going to ask, like with the people, is it okay for me to talk about what I'm talking about? Yeah. So, but I'm telling y'all, man, it be funny. It be people somehow in their head. I'm just reading from the answers. I'm just trying to show up some other people. You're just trying to shoot a shot at me because my answer was different. I'd be like, I didn't know your answer was different. I never seen it. I've never seen your answer. Let me get off here, man. So, I didn't go through all the Quran ayats, but they basically the same thing. And you know, some of these ayats is about the hand, some about the face, but I just wanted to give some proof that there is some Salafis, whether y'all want to say that's Wahhabi stuff, that's Wahhabi Aqidah, when we can look at the Tafsirs and see this was 1,000 years before Abdul Wahhab was born. Okay. This was 1,000 years before him. Just to show my understanding of Allah's face is not this. So if that make me misguided, cool. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. I'll take that. I'm misguided, man. I'm up on Wahhabi Aqidah. That's cool, man. You know, salam alaikum to you, brother. You still Muslim to me, man, you know? So, assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.